I'm really enjoying Tomodachi Life Living the Dream so far, but here are some things I think they could add. So the first thing I want to bring up is a personal favorite of mine from the 3DS version, and it's of course the concert hall. So in the 3DS version, you can make different groups, you could have a solo performance, and you could have these Miis sing whatever you want. So there's a few different genres, and there's not anything you can do to customize like the actual melody or anything like that with the music itself. But you could customize the lyric, and it was just a very fun mode. It wasn't deep or anything, but it was very charming to just see like your Miis and whatever groups you made just sing whatever you want. And there were censors, but you probably found a way to get around them like I did. And when we started seeing more information about Living the Dream and we didn't see anything about the concert hall, I saw a lot of other people were really upset about that. A lot of people were really hoping that we would get it, and unfortunately we didn't. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, but it's something that I feel like they could add pretty easily. I think the reason they probably didn't add it is just because there is no censors, like your Miis can say anything, so maybe Nintendo doesn't want them singing songs with certain lyrics, but then again, you could literally design anything you want, so I don't really know if that would make sense. But I'm sure most of you who played the 3DS version would love this. Next up is the rankings board. So technically there is like a later part of the game I'm not going to spoil, but you don't have a place you can just go to and just check rankings for like how much money you've spent on a specific Mii, the most time you've spent, all things like that. And it wasn't something that was integral to the 3DS game, but it was just a cool feature. Like you could see like how much money you've spent on a Mii, like to see who you've pampered the most. You could see, I think, how many times you checked in on a Mii. And I've always liked stuff like that, especially on consoles, like when you can see play logs, you see how many hours you played a game. I just like stuff like that, just be able to look back. And this game doesn't really have that. And I feel like it's something that would have been very simple to add, even if it's not its own location, even if it's just something on the menu. I do hope that we get this in some sort of update. And then adding on to that, the compatibility tester, like that's something that I didn't use much, but if Nintendo actually made it like meaningful in this, where it actually meant something and wasn't just completely random, that would be another cool feature to add. But a big one here, and something that a lot of people were disappointed about not getting, is the sharing feature. In the 3DS version, you could scan QR codes and get a Mii on your island, and that is completely gone here. So the very simple reason is that you can literally do anything. You can name your Miis anything, you have face paints, you could do anything you want with these Miis, but it comes at the cost of having that sharing feature. Now, to be fair, I think that having full freedom is better than the sharing feature, but I don't think it has to be one or the other. Like maybe Nintendo could do some sort of curated sharing feature where people could submit Miis to have a QR code for them or a code to put in the game or whatever. And even if Nintendo just chooses the ones they want, that would still be something, because it's not like previous games where all Miis were pretty easy to recreate with instructions. You could literally have a whole video detailing every step of the process of making a Mii and still not be able to do it. And that's because with the face paint feature and with the painting feature in general, it's not that easy. Like if you're not good at drawing, you're going to have trouble with this. It can take a long time to fully customize features, and even then you're probably not going to get it exactly right. I don't think this should be used as a replacement for creativity. Like I don't think it means that you should only use I don't think it should mean you should only use Miis that are shared, but in the 3DS version, there were quite a few Miis that I just thought like looked funny or whatever from QR codes, and I scanned them in my game. It was a cool feature to have, and I don't know if Nintendo will ever want to do something like this where they'll have curated. It's just a cool idea. I'm sure a lot of you will love to see. Now, tying into this, being able to send Miis to friends' islands. So just like with not being able to share your Miis because of the lack of censors, I'm sure Nintendo doesn't want someone to get a random Mii from an island with inappropriate imagery or an inappropriate name, and that totally makes sense. With that being said though, what about being able to send Miis that grew up on your island to another island that's one of your friends? Like maybe there's some sort of feature where you could have a port and you could see that your friend also has a Mii at their port and do some sort of exchange. I don't know how exactly it would work, but I feel like that's like the best way it could work. Instead of having you just get any random Mii, which could be something completely out of pocket, I think the best way would just be sharing with friends. And of course, having some sort of parental controls, because I'm sure there's a lot of kids playing this game who probably have friends on the Switch that they don't actually know and would send them less than ideal Miis. So just making sure that you're a certain age, I guess, to do this. If Nintendo wanted to add this but really wanted to make sure that no kid is going to get scared from a Mii that they see. So actually an idea I just thought of is there is some sort of local share with Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, but you can't have like Mii's travel across islands. Maybe if you're around someone, you could just exchange Mii's, meaning that someone on their island will visit yours and then that Mii can go to another island that they share. It's just a feature I love so much on the 3DS version. It was just one of my favorite things, and I really hope that it does come back in some way. Now, the next ones I think are more likely. These are some of the ones that I'd love to see, but I don't necessarily think we're getting them. But more interactions and mini games. So I've been getting like the same mini games over and over again, like the coin flip one, the shadow quiz, the no repeats game. I've been just seeing the same ones over and over again. And then the interactions, I feel like the Miis just have like the hiccups where they're just standing still like constantly. Like there's not that many interactions unless I'm just missing something. So adding more there just to make it interesting, because I'm just skipping past it at this point, and I've only played it for what, like 4 or 5 days now. I'm still having a lot of fun with the game, but at some point I'm just going to get bored of it when it's just the same thing over and over again. And I've already gotten a little bit bored of some of these interactions because there's not really many differences each time. And this was a bit of an issue on the 3DS version as well, so it's not like it's exclusive to this one. But I think it's very likely we'll get some sort of update with this. Another one that Nintendo doesn't have a reason not to add, but I don't know exactly if they would add this, is actual events. So there are some actual events, but think back to the 3DS version where you had like the timed events, like events like the barbecue, like Tomodachi Quest. So there are events here, like there's the pop-up shop, or not really the pop-up shop because it's like a permanent thing that's just open certain times of day. There's Mii News, but a lot of the events that were in specific locations are gone here. Like the restaurant here, it's still fun to see like the Miis interact in the restaurant and sit down together, but it's not like they have the chat sessions or the pity parties like they did in the 3DS version. There's no barbecue, there's no frisbee, there's no Tomodachi Quest. And those were some of my favorite things in the original game because it just added more variety. And I understand why Living the Dream doesn't have that, because it's supposed to be a more like sandbox style game where you can do like anything anywhere, so it doesn't limit events to one place for the most part. But I don't think that needs to limit it. Well, like what if, let's say 6 o'clock every day you can go and see like stand-up comedy in the restaurant or something like that. Like little things like that just add so much to these games and add so much more replayability. And something that I think would go along well with this is just having more places to go. You have the restaurant, you have the Ferris wheel, that's about it besides the houses. And in a more sandbox style game, I'd love to see just more creativity. Like what if there was an aquarium? What if there was a baseball stadium? What if there was a mall? I would love to see like interactions like this in these different places rather than just seeing me just interact in the regular overworld, because it would just make the island just feel a lot more alive. And I think this is something that is very likely, and I'll get to this at the end of the video after I talk about just one more thing, and that is to make it more of a sim like the original. Like just add in some more simulation features. Now, even though I'm talking about adding this, I think Living the Dream is a great game. I think it's arguably better than the original, and in terms of creativity, it absolutely is. But the original felt like a better simulation game. This feels like a better sandbox style game because there was more drama in the original. It felt like it took more time for relationships to develop. It felt like it took more time for the children to grow up. It felt a lot more like these were like living, breathing characters, where here it feels a little more manufactured, if that makes sense. At this point, I don't know how they could really change that, but it's something that I feel would make this game a lot more replayable. Like, have more drama, make it take a little more time for relationships to develop, add more options for what can happen. Like, what if there could be big fights and it leads to Mii's taking sides and it ends other friendships? To me, the life sim part is not the main part of Tomodachi Life, and I know that might sound strange because you might think, well, it's a simulation game, that is the main part. But for me, it's just like seeing the interactions, and the life sim is probably second after that. This is not going to be the most in-depth life simulator of all time, but I would just like to see a little more. And this game reminds me a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons, where it's a very well-made game, especially like, and I'm just talking launch, like it is a well-made game, there's a lot you can do, you have a lot of freedom. It's missing things in previous games, or the previous game in this case. And New Horizons came out, and I didn't love it at first, but I really started to like it more over time as they added more updates, as it really came into its own. I always loved how you had more customization, but I didn't like how there were other features lacking. Like, it felt like there was less interactions with the villagers, there was less shops, and that got better over time. And it's still being updated 6 years later. There's the Switch 2 edition now. So I have a lot of hope that Tomodachi Life Living the Dream will become a much better game, and it is already a great game. I'm loving Living the Dream, but it's not like you have to say it's either perfect or it's not. And I don't think just because it just came out doesn't mean we can't ask about more things, because I think there's a lot of room to improve this game. I don't think we should say, well, it's new, so we shouldn't expect anything yet. I'm not saying we need to have an update in the next month, but a common complaint I've seen is that it is missing a lot of features. It lost some things from the 3DS version, and it does feel a little bit shallow at times. And these are all things that can be very easily fixed nowadays, so let's just see what Nintendo does. I'm willing to be patient with updates. I'll probably still be playing this for another few weeks, maybe even a couple months at this point until I get bored of it. But again, this is a game that can definitely benefit from some updates. Let me know what you think should be added, and also if you want to see my rankings of the Tomodachi Life locations, be sure to check out some of these videos, and I'll see you next time.